The next fly we're going to work with is the Quigley's Cripple, invented by Bob Quigley out of Northern California and Oregon. And the body material and tail that he used is turkey marabou. I just happen to have orange here. You can use whatever colors, of course, you want. And the feather itself, a lot of times, is pretty fluffy, but what I did was go in there and you can break off pieces that are smaller that you can work with, because this marabou has like little feathers within the feather kind of thing. So I broke off a piece I thought might work for the size I'm working with. This is a size 16 curved shank nymph hook, but you could use a dry fly hook like we used before, or some other kind of hook. And what we're going to do with this, I already put my thread on, and we're going to make a little tail here. And I'm just going to take that material and put it all together and go down towards the tip, because you want this to be a little bit loose so it kind of floats around in the water. And I'm going to do a pinch wrap right back by the bend around the point area, 3 or 4 wraps. Okay, if it's a little long, you can pull it back or cut it off a little bit if you want to. The second piece of material we're going to work with is some silver tinsel. Now the kind I'm using is called French tinsel flat and the small, so it isn't very wide. So with a small hook, we're going to want to use the smaller wrapping, and this is going to be your rib. Put a couple wraps on it, just like we've done before. We're going to secure that and go right to the thorax area or the eye of the hook. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is wrap the marabou around as the body. Now to help with that, you can take and twist this together a little bit. So it looks something like that. And just guide it around. As it lays out, it'll come unwrapped a little bit. Just twist a little bit with your finger. And just wrap your next wrap ahead of the previous. Now you could go a thicker body than this if you wanted to. And we're going to wrap it up to the thorax area like we did before. And we're going to tie it off. Okay. Now I don't need this extra piece, so we're going to cut that tag off. And clear the head. Next thing we're going to do is take the tinsel and counter wrap this. The distance you want to use in between is up to you. With this size hook, I'd do like probably 4 wraps. And then when you get towards the thorax area, tie that off. And cut the excess. Okay, the tail looks a little long, so I'm just going to snip that off. So I've got a nice tail going, a shuck. I've got a nice body going. I've got some tinsel going. The next thing we're going to do is similar to what we did with the Last Chance Cripple, is that we're going to put some dubbing on it and create that thorax. And what I like to do is get it strung out a little bit and really tight so you have a thinner noodle. Now I maybe wouldn't use olive here. I'm using it so it can be seen easily. You might use some brown if you're using orange or something like that, or black. But I'm going to take and create that thorax. So now we've got the tail going, the shuck, the body, the tinsel, and the thorax. And then bring your thread back right against the thorax like we did with the Last Chance. And now we're going to get some deer hair. And what the amount you're going to use is probably about the same as you did last time. This hook's a little bit bigger, so maybe I'll cut a little bit bigger piece. And then I'm going to take, just like I did last time, and open that up. I'm going to get all this fuzzy stuff out and the extra shorter hairs. And doing that, I just rolled my fingers to open it up and get some of that junky stuff out. And that's, again, because we want to stack it. That'll hurt the stack. points in, tips in, and a few wraps in your vise or on a table maybe.
So when you did the hackle,
And I'm going to take this out
you had the thread
direction I want to wrap it, if that's possible for you to do.
behind it to kind of secure it and then
Clean it off a little bit.
Sorry, so
And then I'm going to tie it in so that the wing going out over the head is so 2/3 or so of the hook shank, something like that.
You were securing it to help
I'm going to do a pinch wrap so I get it right back by the thorax.
Oh, yeah.
a little flatter so that
Yes, I was
when you
pulling
2 or
that
3 or
back
4.
So that it would sweep
And then
back.
Okay, it's looking okay, so I'm going to come in and cut it short like we did the other fly.
Never want to have the thread.
or sorry, in front.
Trim it up a little bit so it's pretty even.
So you can work on it.
Then I'm going to come in here, right above the hook eye, and just post this up with a few wraps. Try to bring those hairs a little bit together, the wing. Okay, and that's good.
I think I'm.
Okay, it spun on me because it's not quite tight enough. We're just going to put it right back where it was
Make sure you guys have a chance.
and straighten it out.
Yeah.
Tighten it down a little
Okay,
bit.
great. We're all good.
Okay, my eye's open.
Now, last week I did.
I've got a nice thorax going. If you want to, you can trim this up a little bit if need be.
We're kind of ready to sit and do this one, so
Then we're just going to take a hackle like we did before,
I'm going to pass out materials.
about the size we think we need.
I didn't intend for it to go this way, but.
We're going to take off all these real long ones in here.
Pass leg and then half inch. You guys been using your half inch or?
And create my post to tie it on with the top of the fly towards me. I'm going to wrap that in.
That's
Come on.
that's what I'm saying. Does anyone feel, yeah, I'll talk about that.
Okay, just a moment, I need to straighten this out.
Does anyone feel confident using their half inch?
Okay,
Guys? Okay. So.
now put the
It sounds like
feather
we-
towards me.
I'm
gonna tie that in.
Feel they need to work on half inch. So if it's good pass leg, then we'll do some work on half inch. Because I mean.
And I want to trim this up a little bit. It's getting just a little bit messy on me.
It really secures the fly down. I mean, most of the time I don't even use it.
Then we're going to take our feather and go around the
What's that?
wing as we did before. 3 or 4 wraps, whatever you think you want.
You can have it, but then again, you might have to fight out here.
And I'm going to come in and just capture that feather again.
All right, I'm gonna pass out material. Somebody has the older version of the. You've got an older version of that.
Trim off our feather hackle that we just put on.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe bring it to the front if you need to get things secured a little better. And we'll finish it off.
It's basically the same tool. It's just, yeah, it matters on this one, but it doesn't on these. Essentially,
Okay, now I'm going to come in here and clean this up a little bit. So left some hair around the eye of the hook
this is here.
and a little bit on the bottom.
That hook acts the same way there. But if you are.
A straggler here.
Direction, I suppose.
Okay, make sure that hook eye is clean. Put a little bit of cement down at the bottom, but that's basically a Quigley's Cripple with a marabou hair, tail, marabou body. You've got some shiny in there with the tinsel, the basic thorax, deer hair to form your wing, and hackle for the flotation of it, and make it look like it has some legs. Okay, let's give it a try.